I had an uncle that hardly had any fingers, but it's because he worked in a deli, not with explosives.
Ugh, gross. Caissie, I don't want to hear about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to your uncle, but no. Caissie, I don't know what's going on in your family. I can't.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Hi.
Weird. Hi. Happy New Year.
Oh my God. Happy New Year. My email won't load email, apparently.
What's happening?
I don't know.
I know recently, well, it wasn't recent. It was mid-December. Gmail just wasn't working on my phone for like apparently days. And I was just like feeling good about it. Like I was just like
no one's emailing me. I'm good.
Yeah, which sometimes hurts my feelings, but it was just at that time I was like, I have nothing pressing, nobody's darkening my doorstep with their emails. It turns out I had billions of emails. I just wasn't getting them on my phone and I wasn't looking for them anywhere else.
Yeah. This is weird though. My computer's being really strange. I don't understand.
I'm guessing you probably have to restart her.
Sure.
For the new year?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably right.
Maybe.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going. I was deathly ill last night. So I feel like
what kind?
I'm going to try not to be low end, but I just had like the worst stomach ache in the world.
Oh no.
And so I went and slept on the sofa because I was like tossing and turning all night. And then, then I just was like, got very close to throwing up. Sorry, TMI, if you hate throw up talk, but I didn't. So I felt like that at that point I turned a corner. Like I did the prep. Like I manned my battle stations to throw up, and then I just never did.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So that means
I
it's like sort of like you just maybe ate something that disagreed with you. It's not like a bug or probably.
Yeah,
or like,
I mean, I ate everything that disagreed with me. As I told my son, Eli, who is out house sitting, he texted this morning to ask how things were going at home. And I said, I tried to eat French fries in my 50s, you know?
No, I don't. But yeah.
You will.
Maybe. I think I'm always going to be able to eat French fries. I'm not going to lie. I think that's just part of me.
I don't know. That
fries.
Was it like it was some antacid commercial that was like the most brilliant ad campaign I'd ever seen, where the food kept slapping people in the face as they were trying to eat like spaghetti. I was like, I feel very seen. This is clearly, but you know, I mean, you have enough stomach problems, so I hope that you can always eat French fries and not worry about it.
Yeah, I do have enough stomach problems. Did you have a great New Year?
It was so good. It was nice. Yeah, we went to our friend Katie's house, your friend as well, and also Mark. It's his house as well. And it was so nice. I saw so many people that I knew, which is always delightful. But also like I was bummed because I just wanted it to go on for days and days so that I could talk to everybody that I knew. It was a little bit like a wedding in that way, but nobody's wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like you just get to say hi to everyone and not have like a big conversation with, you have to like pick who you're going to have a conversation with, or it just happens. And you're like, do I want to talk to someone new, or do I want to talk to someone I've known since I was 25?
Yes.
And I tried to do both.
Yes.
But everyone sent their regards. They all missed you and love you. And
I know. I knew that I was going to be missing tons of people that I knew. But
I know, but you had a great night, it sounds like.
I had a great night. I had to switch up the energy. I just felt like I needed to switch up the energy.
Yeah. Wait, did you get that package I sent you?
I did.
Oh, thank God.
I have to take it on over to my Christmas present from last year.
I mean, it really wasn't. I think it was your birthday present from like 3 years ago, if we're being honest. True? And I finally fucking mailed it. Because here's what I want to say. Like,
Wait, I do think you're right. I think it was like from like 2020.
Yeah, I'm not joking you. And I wrote, I'm the worst on the side of the box.
You did. I'll take a picture of it. It made me laugh. It actually made me lol. I was going to take it over to Framebridge, our old friends at Framebridge.
Yes, because here's the thing is that like, here, I'm getting to know this about myself, and it's very late in life to realize this. But sometimes when too many possibilities for accomplishing something, even if it's very simple, when there's like too many possibilities, I just crash out on it, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, that's what it was with that. I was like,
that's an ADHD. That's a trait.
Yeah. And so I was like, should I send it to the framer and then they'll send it to her? Or should I?
Yes. Right.
Matt,
no, it was too many options. It was too many options.
It was too many options. And I just crashed out and I was like, you know what? Let me send it now. And then she can leave it in her house. And then when I go to New York next, I'll take it out of her house and I'll bring it to Framebridge and get it framed. Oh my God.
We're
anyway,
done.
I'm just glad it's on the right coast now.
It's in the right place. You gave me such a good Christmas present. I didn't get anyone anything good. I did have one little thing for you that I just left in another, like in Birdie's suitcase, which was not at Emily's house. And so I didn't even like give it to you. It's still there, actually. I bet I could get it to Emily somehow. I bet Mark could get it to Emily because Mark and the kids are still there. I bet I could get Mark to get it to Emily and then she could get it to you at some point. That'll be a good, interesting.
See,
rather than like
that's
my
a thing
nightmare is that it comes back here. Do you know what I mean?
You don't want it back. I understand. And plus I felt like you got me a lot of things this year and like I got to go to Minneapolis. You made that happen and, you know, to the Prince house. So I wasn't.
I know, but you know, I just had it was a weird season.
It was a weird one and it came up so fast. I don't think we should have Thanksgiving that late. I know people are always talking about changing the Constitution for like government reasons. I'm going to say let's throw in not having Thanksgiving so late.
I also I like daylight savings too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe they can do one of those things where they just make it all one amendment.
Yeah. An omnibus bill.
Yeah.
That situates Thanksgiving. Let's just make it, you know, a couple weeks before the end or one, you know, a solid week before the end of November. That would help me. You know, but whatever. It was a weird season, but I had a nice season. I had a nice Christmas with my fam. I know you're against this, but the last time we did the podcast, we talked about drama at Emily Beebe's White Elephant. Sebastian, who I said many nice things about, asked for a full retraction because he felt like he came off mean in that story. And his version of events is that he stole a person's gift not because he enjoyed it, but because he thought the person didn't really like their gift and he wanted them to be happy and he wanted to involve them more in the game because they were a relative stranger. So
in Sebastian is the hero in this version of events.
Yes. And
I mean, listen, I wasn't there, so I have and also that guy is really, really cute walking past me. Like 30 years old. But like, I wasn't there. I have no skin in the game. And in fact, when I saw Sebastian at the Hanukkah party at Emily's house, I was like, no retraction. Don't do it.
He was like, this is going, he said, I was listening and I was like, this is going so great for me. They're saying great things about me. And then I got to the part where you said that you thought that the real gift was me stealing a person's gift that they really wanted. And I was so upset I had to stop listening and eat chocolate.
You really, really affected him. I know. And I mean, it sounds like it was, it really...
And then
really
he said that Busy pronounced his name beautifully and that was like a bright spot for him. And I was like, but you weren't bothered by when Busy ranked Emily's best friends in order? And he was like, I didn't listen to that part because I stopped to eat chocolate. And I was like, okay, well.
He was so thrown. by your blaspheming him.
Anyway, we love Sebastian. You know, no harm, no foul. Busy didn't want to do a retraction, but I was like,
well,
at this
again, I
point,
said I have no skin in this
you have
game. I
no
wasn't
skin in the
there. I
game.
can't
Yeah.
even really speak to it. But
yeah.
you know, I never want anyone to be unhappy with how I talk about them. Jesus, God
Oh
forbid.
my gosh. But then we had a really fun time because Emily had a latke party for Hanukkah. Emily hosts a lot of parties. She should be like a
Yeah.
lifestyle.
But the latkes thing is really, you know, when Emily and I lived together, we hosted a lot of parties. I also am a party person. Emily and I are both party people.
Yeah.
And the latke party was really because I, historically speaking, have always done the latkes and the latke party. And I was going to be in town for a few days. And so she was like, can we do a latke party? Yes. So we did it. And actually this morning, so funny. I like haven't really unpacked because obviously I'm me. And I was going to go work out, but then the guy came to fix my dryer, which is like a whole other situation that I'm so fucking pissed and annoyed about. Pissed about. But
you turned Italian.
I'm so pissed about it. I really am. I want to talk about it because it's so fucking annoying to me, but like, whatever. But the guy showed up early to fix my dryer, which was great. So I didn't go work out, but I put on workout. I just grabbed them from my suitcase and put on workout pants. And I literally was like, okay, workout pants and like a bra or whatever. And I put on my shirt. And I was like, God, I smell weird. Like, I know I was really hungover yesterday from New Year's, but like, what is coming out of my pores? Like, I don't smell great. Like, this is weird. Like, I put on deodorant and then I was like, it's all still happening. What is, and then I realized it was my fucking leggings. They smelled like latke oil.
Oh.
Because I had been wearing the leggings when I made the latkes. And then I didn't wash them, but I folded them and put them in my suitcase like as if they were clean.
Yeah.
And so when I grabbed them this morning, I thought they were clean leggings. And I literally was like, I smell like onions and oil. Like, what is this? What is coming out of my pores? But it wasn't. It was my leggings. And now I smell fine.
Delicious.
Now I smell fine. No, it did not. It did not.
It didn't.
It smelled
well.
like 5-day-old oil and onion and potato. And it was gross.
God.
And now they're going to be cleaned and I will put them in the dryer because the dryer works again. But I'm really fucking annoyed because so the dryer has never really worked. And in a way that like, you know, this house is relatively new. And when we moved in, we had to get a washer dryer and we're told by the contractors because like, and I guess in New York, it's kind of a thing. And the guy today
you needed
was
like a condensing dryer.
It's called a ventless dryer.
Yeah, we had that when we lived in New York.
Right. Too. Because the vent would be too long and it would just blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
To get it outside of the house. And like there are zoning laws. So like it couldn't be like outside, like just like blasting onto the street or whatever.
Right.
I don't know, whatever.
Right.
The point is we had to get this like ventless dryer. Sure. And I know people that have ventless dryers and they totally work. And in fact, one of our rentals, it was a ventless dryer. It was totally fine. And it was great. This dryer has never fully worked. And I didn't understand. And then today the guy comes and, well, because he had come before the holidays, the dryer's not been working at all for like a month.
Yeah.
And so he came before the holidays and he was like, oh, your fan is blown out. You got to get a new fan. So they ordered the part. He came today. So then I go downstairs and I'm like, how's it going? And he's like, it's great. But you know the reason why it's never really worked, right? And I was like, please tell me. So when we moved in and I bought this washer dryer and like there was no like laundry room in the basement. It's like, so there was just like one of those like, just like a freestanding sink and there was a washer dryer hookup down there.
Yeah.
So I had like the contractors, because we redid the kitchen and the bathrooms in the house before we moved in. We built out like actually had this company, like Boxy is the name of the company. And they're really great. And they do these sort of almost like prefab kind of like boxes and you put them in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like drawers and with a sink and, you know. And so I did that. And then, my contractors or whatever, they put the washer dryer like under a counter, like in a box, basically under a counter, so that I could like fold on top of it.
Yeah.
And the guy today, the washer dryer man fixer, was like, these dryers need, it says in installation, they need at least 4 feet on top of them and nothing, like you're holding in all of the heat
Right.
by them sitting in this like essentially box. You understand what I'm saying,
Yes.
right? Am I describing it well enough?
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah, it very clearly says in the installation of these washer dryers. And he's like, but you have no idea. I go to houses all the time and people have these like boxes built around it so that they can like fold their clothes on top of it. It looks nice.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's gonna never work properly. So I was like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And he's like, well, destroy the box.
You got to take that boxy out of there.
Okay, so great.
Oh, that's annoying. I'm sorry.
It's annoying. It's annoying when you've like had something done that if somebody had like just read the thing and told you, like,
Yeah,
you know,
because I feel like contractors are constantly telling me something isn't gonna work.
right.
And so you would think the one time something really wasn't gonna work, they would tell you.
I know.
Someone would from
I know.
some party.
I was pretty annoyed. I was really annoyed. And there's a couple options, like, but all of it's going to involve me paying someone to undo a thing that I paid for them to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where it like that's where it's like
That's
a
frustrating.
real frustrating thing.
Yeah. Can you
But
repurpose the box?
well, that's what I said. That's so funny. And that's also what he said.
Yeah.
I think I can,
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
I think I can like, I actually think I have this like new contractor woman that just did some work for Jen and Marie because I'm going to build, she's going to help, she's like designed and I'm going to build a like closet, like a coat closet in this front room.
Okay.
And a little bench with like a shoe cubbies under it in the entryway because that was always like a thing I wanted to do and then like obviously ran out of money because that's what happens when you're anyone.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe not Kelly Ripa.
There's a couple people that have limitless money for shoe cubbies, but we're not them.
Yeah. I was like just trying to think of like, yeah, like, yes, I am not them.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted
Kelly Ripa works every day of the year.
every
I feel
fucking
like,
day of the year. And her husband.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
40 years.
Exactly.
It's been like 35 years or something.
Exactly.
She's been on television straight for 30 years.
By the way, this is just like an aside. When I wrote my young adult novel, when it came out, I worked on Watch What Happens Live, and he was like, and Andy was like, "Oh, for the Kelly Ripa's going to play a game tonight, and if she wins for the prize, I'm going to give her your book." And I was like, "That's so nice," because he just wanted my book to get flashed on TV, which was so nice. But then Kelly Ripa, my book was not going to be in bookstores because do you know that? Like bookstores only put so many books in bookstores and then otherwise you have to order it online.
Yes.
Anyway, Kelly Ripa won the book on Watch What Happens Live. Then the next morning on Live, I think Regis was still the co-host back then. During their morning chit chat, she was like, "Oh, last night I was on Watch What Happens Live, and this woman who's worked there for years wrote this book. I won it as my prize for the game." She showed the book. She talked about the book for like 2 minutes.
That's
and
so nice.
You know how like in TV people are able to calculate like the value of like my publisher calculated that it was like $2 million worth of advertising for that book.
Yeah.
Like that's how much we would have had to pay if we so anyway, so then my book got to be in bookstores because of Kelly Ripa. So she deserves all the fucking shoe cubbies she wants, in my opinion. But
by the way, no doubt, 100%. I'm just saying.
When you're not Kelly Ripa, you have to budget for shoe cubbies. That's the truth.
That's right. And here we are, busy this week, season 2, shoe cubbies. Is all I'm saying. The point being, I'm going to ask this woman to come over ASAP and look at this situation and see if she can bring a person who can, like a general, who can just like rip the box out so that this stupid dryer finally works. Because for so long, I've like just been like, ugh, I'm just going to send my laundry out because it takes too long for the clothes to dry.
Yeah.
But that's so dumb. I have a fucking washer dryer. It should work.
It should work.
And it is
And those
just one
are
of those
tricky because they are
tricky.
usually small. They're usually European.
It's not small, but it has to be, the vents have to be, both vents have to be cleaned a lot. And then now I know that fan in the back needs to have
a lot
air
of clearance.
Circulating.
Yeah.
And so also he was like, so now I got a fan. I had a fan, like a regular fan.
Yeah.
And now I have a fan down there. And he's like, just make sure you have the fan running all the time. And I was like, oh God, it's like,
my God.
so whatever. It's fine.
When we had ours, we were very lucky because we had very high ceilings. And so we stacked the dryer on top of the washer, but there was more than enough room up to the ceiling for it to vent. But the problem that we had is that it just ejected so much lint into the air for whatever reason. And so our plumber like attached like a little, like he put a hose,
like
you know,
a
those
sock.
flexible vent hoses, and it attached to like a tiny bucket of water, and that solved the problem. But then you had to empty the bucket of water constantly of like the lint. So it's always like a thing. It's always a thing. But, you know, and then I'm like, it's a miracle that your clothes get dry, I guess. Like I'm my grandmother's wildest dream.
Totally. I also am from Arizona and California, and I am a line dryer.
Yeah.
Like if you grow, I mean, like I grew up in Arizona, I
New York
line dry
City.
my clothes
Yeah.
when I'm in Arizona. But that is just not possible in New York for 1 million reasons.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. And then like also I have been sort of like laying towels and things to be dry. And do you know what it makes them really hard and scratchy.
I like that.
And then I'm like, and then I get out of the tub and I'm like, oh, like it's exfoliating. I have exfoliating towels, but not because they're supposed to be exfoliating, because they're just like, they've been dried over a hanging rack and they're like stiff and really horrible. Anyway, guys, so that's how I'm starting this new year. Also, I want to say that I really wish, I've been thinking about body doubling, you know, like for doing chores and things, because when I went to my suitcases this morning and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. And I wish that there was like a mobile way to do the podcast, because I feel like this would be the best version of body doubling for me.
Yeah.
Would be like doing the podcast while taking all the ornaments off the Christmas tree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can't.
Well, maybe we can figure it out. Why not?
There's no wireless, like, you know what I mean? That requires.
Does it?
I don't know.
mean, maybe there's a way. I'm the worst at technology, but
Same.
I'm also the
That's why
best
we
at
have this
believing
podcast.
there has to be a way.
Well, you out there, if you're listening and you know, you let us know. Jesus. Oh, wait, look, my email's working now.
Oh, see? Just needed a minute.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
And then it'll be like emails from days ago, and then you'll get
No.
today's.
That was the problem. It wasn't getting the new
okay.
emails. It was just emails from days ago.
Just catching up.
But now I got them all.
It's weird that like technology seemed to go on vacation this year. Like, I'm not even joking. My phone and my computer were like, oh yeah, I'm off. I'm out of office. And I was like, I am your office. I don't remember giving you the time off. But maybe that's how it's going. Maybe my phone and my computer are the boss of me now.
They might be. It's a new year. It's a new time to re-up your grocery shopping and your meal planning. I know for me, especially like just with everything, it's really hard to like keep it going. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we just got off the holidays where we've been indulging and just eating like a toddler with a credit card in my case.
100%. That's right. That's correct.
I would like to get back on track and make balanced meals with vegetables.
Well, listen, that can all change because of
Yes.
Hungry Root. It's the
Ugh.
easiest way to eat healthy. It's the easiest thing to do because it's like kind of like having a personal shopper or a nutritionist or both all in one. They do the weekly grocery shopping. They recommend healthy groceries. They recommend meals tailored to your tastes or nutritional preferences, or health goals or ways of eating. You can be like, I see a lot of these things that are like, use AI things to make your meal plan. You don't need to do that. You can just use
Don't
Hungry
need to.
Root because Hungry Root, that is what they do.
Right.
They make it easy to eat high quality, nutritious food and anti-inflammatory, gut-friendly, gluten-free, dairy-free, high protein. Like you name it, they're like, we got you. We
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah.
And also, it's so stress-free and easy, and they adjust. Like you tell them what you want and your preferences. They fill your cart with recommendations that are personalized. And then you don't have to get it all. Like you get to choose. And then based on the things that you're like, oh, I'm not interested in this, they then make recommendations that are more tailored to you as your Hungry Root deliveries go on. And all of their recipes can be made in 15 minutes or less. They have over 15,000 recipes shipped each week. There's really, truly something for everyone and any kind of taste or nutritional preference that you have. They also have like smoothies, kid snacks,
Sweets,
ready to eat meals or salad kits. And they even have supplements, guys.
everything you
No
need.
high fructose corn syrup, no artificial sweeteners, no preservatives in any of Hungry Root's food. And they only source top quality meat and seafood free of hormones and antibiotics. Guys, you should give it a try. It's the new year. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as we do. Take advantage of our exclusive offer for a limited time. Get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/busy and use code BUSY. That's hungryroot.com/busy, code BUSY to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/busy, code BUSY. Ugh, I just love Blue Land.
At Emily Beebe's Latka party, she took out her Blue Land dishwasher tablets.
Yeah.
And her friend was like, those are gorgeous.
No, I know. It's so cute because it's like in this cute little container and they're so cute and they use zero plastic. Talk about somebody who's really committed to the environment. Emily Beebe is one of those people. And so I know, I like truly, I'm telling you, like they advertise on our podcast, but I know because these products are in Emily Beebe's house that they really are the best ones on the market.
Right.
If for all of us.
Right. She does her research.
Because she does the research.
Yeah.
She does the research. I just am like, I'll do whatever she does. She does the research. Blue Land's products aren't just incredible cleaning supplies. They are truly also about a cleaner, greener lifestyle by reducing our plastic use. I mean, did you know that I'm just going to tell you a fact because this is, 5 billion plastic hand soap and cleaning bottles are thrown away. 5 billion.
I hate it.
I hate it too. And if that's not gross enough, cleaning formulas are like 90% water, which is heavy to ship, which means more carbon emissions. Plus, the products often have gross ingredients, chlorine, ammonia, things that aren't good for you. It's a bad situation for you. It's a terrible situation for the planet. It's not good for your pets. It's not good for your kids. Microplastics are ruining everything. So Blue Land is like, guess what? We're going to do something about it. We're going to eliminate single-use plastic in the products we need and reach for it the most. They're on a mission to eliminate single-use plastic by reinventing cleaning essentials, and they are doing it. And the cleaning products work and are great. The idea is very simple. It's refillable cleaning products with a beautiful, cohesive design. They look great on your counter. They look great under your sink. They look great when you have guests over and you pull out your little cute little blue metal container to put your dishwasher tab into the dishwasher.
They're so impressive. And the scents, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, do I love not using plastic? Yes. Do I love environmentally friendly? Yes. Do I still need it to smell great and work great? Of course.
Well, yes, of course. Of course. Also, it's very cost effective. The refills start at just $2.25, and you can set up a subscription, which is what I do, or you can buy in bulk and you get additional savings. Blue Land is trusted in over 1 million homes, including Caissie's, Emily Beebe's, and mine. Blue Land has a special offer for you, our listeners. Right now, get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/best. You don't want to miss this. Blueland.com/best for 15% off. That's blueland.com/best to get 15% off. I had a weird thing happen with an email chain that I had with somebody. It was really strange.
Okay.
I was like emailing back and forth with someone, you know, on a chain.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, and then it was done. Like we weren't emailing anymore. And then out of nowhere, a political fundraising campaign email came through as if it was from the campaign and that person. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was really weird. And I don't know why. It like attached itself to the email chain.
That's so weird. I feel like certain email platforms are going through something because what has been happening to me with the podcast for the past several weeks is
I think that we've all been going through something.
This is so boring, maybe, but it's also the truth. Like we record the podcast and we get like files on our Zoom recorders, and then we also record on Zoom, the platform, which is ironic that they're both named the same thing and they're unrelated, but used at the same time. And so the Zoom call is so we can see each other, and it's a backup audio file. And then we have like what's called local files that are done. They're more high quality and they're done on the recording devices that we have attached to our computers. In any case, lately, when I've been attaching the files to send to our editor, Josh, to an email, which is how I always do it.
Yes.
Like the first two files attach normally, and then the third file attaches somehow in the subject of the email. And then it's nothing. It's not an attached file. It's not sendable. It makes itself part of the subject of the email. And I'm like, I don't have room in my life to solve this. What is this? Why is this doing this? This is annoying. But then again, it's a miracle that you can send an audio file. So I'm like, I mean, it can never just go 100% smoothly, you know?
No.
But I firmly believe there's got to be a way to like make this a body doubling situation if that works for you.
Well, I just think it would be helpful.
Yeah.
Since I have lots of things that I always am supposed to be doing. And it's
hard. No, I know.
And it's really hard for me.
Yeah.
Really hard for me.
Yeah. Sometimes I when I have to do tasks, I listen to audiobooks or to podcasts on headphones. I don't really listen to them. That's the truth. Like I'm not really getting a lot out of it, but it does enable me to do a task sometimes. But sometimes I just listen to like weird tones or whatever for as long as I can stand it, and it helps.
Yeah, you've told me that before.
But who knows? I'm sure different things work for different people, but
that's what they say.
That's what they say. But it's annoying not to be. The suitcase is the worst of all the tasks that need to be done.
Well, I was also, until today, I was like, what's even the point? I can't do my laundry.
Right.
Yeah. So I was feeling that. But now I can do my laundry. As long as I'm running a fan constantly.
Running a fan and checking that box, making sure everything's okay.
It'll be fine.
The drama.
It's all going to be fine.
Imagine running a laundromat.
No.
This would be like times 100 every day. You'd be like, This machine you have to
No.
jiggle. This one,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
who knows?
It's possible.
Anyway.
Anyway, I had a great New Year's.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It was just one of those times. It was actually it was great.
You can't
It was
really.
weirdly like kind of magical.
Yeah. But you can't really.
Hmm.
You can't really talk about it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I can't. I mean, why not?
I don't know. Sometimes I feel
talk
like,
about
you
it.
know,
You want to keep magic to yourself?
keep the magic to yourself, or like maybe somebody there was private or whatever, but you'll tell what you can.
It's just been like I had a really rough, I just have been working really hard the last several weeks at like moving through it all,
Yeah.
you know? And the last few years have been like really emotionally difficult in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just, you know, there's grief and then grief and then grief, and it compounds and, you know, becomes a thing that feels like overwhelming, you know? Like, I think people know that.
Yeah.
And there are obviously like all different kinds of grief. And then when they're like, but when it feels sort of relentless, it's cumulative. And it's just, you're like, I can't get a breath, you know?
Yeah.
And so the end of this year was really hard for me the last few months because for that reason, and really overwhelming emotionally. You know, I was just trying all these different things, you know, and I had that big holiday party.
Yeah.
And so fun. But then right after it, I was like just struck, you know, and was really overwhelmed again with it all. And I went to energy healing with Val, and the next day before I left town, because I was leaving on Saturday, and I went on Friday and had like a really kind of incredible energy session where like Kate showed up.
Aww.
She and I like sat on my sofa and talked.
Nice.
And she said some really amazing things to me that were like things I really needed to hear that I hadn't even like couldn't articulate what the thing was, you know?
Yeah.
And it sort of started to shift things a little bit for me. And then it was like the winter solstice, and I was like, I'm going to have to like, that's the most powerful time to like, you got to let things go. You know what I mean? You have to like, you can think about it, and you can like, and by the way, it doesn't mean you're not going to still be grieving in some ways.
Right.
And that it won't be painful still, but you have to like, I was like, this is it. Like, I need to let these things go, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really started to, and that was right before Christmas. And so I really started to like work on that, like really actively like work on it. Not an easy thing, but it really did start to shift some things for me, you know?
Yeah.
And so then I got this text that was like, Patti LuPone would like to invite you to her New Year's Eve party.
What?
And I was like, you know what? I was going to just be in LA because after Christmas from Arizona, we were going to LA, and Mark and the kids were going to be in LA as well. And there's like always, you know, Mark and Katie's party. And, you know, and I was going to just do that, like the same, which I did last year or whatever. Yeah. And then I got this text, and I was a little bit like, you know what? I had done this thing, this process, whatever. That text came in like the next morning, weirdly. Yeah. And I was like, this feels just like an energetic shift. And it's like a little bit like, I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to do something different this year. I'm going to like go back to New York. And I called Ben, and he's like, yes, let's go. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So made plans to come back. And then I knew Allison Roman was having her party as well. But like, I didn't know if I was going to go to that one on New Year's Eve as well, because I just didn't know if I was going to be able to make it there.
It's a lot.
And Christmas was nice, but it was like, felt a little off I've
Yeah.
talked to a few other people who felt the same way.
I get that.
Like it just was, things were just a little wonky this year, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And certainly they were for me. But the kids had a nice Christmas.
Well, that's good.
And my niece and nephew are so fucking cute. I can't. And Cricket and Josie are so cute together. And Bob is so sweet. And he just is just the cutest guy. I just love him so much. And
He's a character.
he's a character. And then Birdie left with her dad like the day before me and Cricket and I stayed an extra day.
Yeah.
And Bob said goodbye to Birdie, and then like they left, and then we were sitting at the restaurant at the hotel where the owl showed up, and then the owl showed up, which was fucking crazy.
Amazing.
I know, and like that kind of shit has started to happen again.
Yeah.
For me, which like I felt like in the darkest moments in November and December, like I was just like, okay, where are you, universe? Okay, fine.
Right.
But like, where's my fucking magic? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like not. Universe was like, bitch, you can't have this right now. You're in a dark place. You got to get your shit together. Anyway, the owl showed up, but Bob was like literally like huffing. He was so sad that she was gone. He loves her so much, and he was just like, I just don't know what I'm gonna do now. I was like, I think you're gonna be fine, buddy. Anyway, so I was saying this thing to Ben the day of the party, the day of New Year's Eve. I was saying this thing to Ben before we went out, where I was like, it's wild. I see things so clearly for myself in terms of my career. Always have since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I see certain things for my life so crystal clear. Like I knew I was going to have kids. Like I knew when I was going to have them, like that was when I was going to have them. Like I just have a real vision. And I can have a real vision for other people too.
Yeah.
Like I see things for other people very clearly, whether or not they choose to do them or have that be the path. Like
Sure.
sometimes I get these like very, very, very clear visions of like what things in someone's life look like or the path or how it's going to be, whatever. But for me, my entire life, like I can't see love relationships. Like I can't see it. Like I don't see it. I don't, for myself, like I don't know what it is. And it evades me. Like I just can't, I don't have a clear, I just can't see it. And I talk about it in therapy. I've talked about it in therapy for 100 years.
Yeah.
And in Hoffman, like at one point I like thought I could see it, but that wasn't it. Like I just, sometimes I think I see it. I think I know. And then it's just that it's very much not it,
Yeah.
And I do all this work on myself. And like, I don't know. I don't know why it evades me. It just fucking does. And I was sort of like, I'm kind of like letting that go even. Like, I guess I'm just going to let that go. I don't know. But it is a bummer, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I can just let it go. So then we go to Patti LuPone's house, which was like it was like a dream. Like I was so excited. Also, like Birdie and I literally just watched Agatha.
Oh yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
And like I was just so excited. Like I just actually, and Patti and Sashir to me and Agatha were like the greatest. I don't know if you guys have watched it, but they have like the best moment, the two of them, that like I just fucking loved so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, the party was so fun, and immediately like met this woman and we started talking, and then Ben kind of like interrupted it and she sort of started talking to me because she's like, I need you to know I'm like a huge fan and I like your Instagram. Like I remember I have a twin sister. She has a daughter that's your older daughter's age. And like I was like following you like very, very early, very, very early. And just the voice that you like gave to women of our generation. Like she was saying all this really lovely stuff to me that was like
Yeah.
nice and I mean really nice, you know?
Yeah.
And she was just so cool and chic and whatever. And then Ben kind of like interrupted, like came in between us and was like, I'm so sorry. I just have to tell you, I saw your show 3 times. You are such a genius, da 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 da. And I was like, oh God, who is she? I don't fucking know who she is because I'm not a, you know, had missed her show,
Yeah.
which was this show called The Hills of California that
Okay.
everybody like was freaking the fuck out over.
Okay.
And I wanted to go see it, but then I went to the dark place in November, December, and so I didn't go see
Yeah.
it. But anyway, her name is Leanne Best. She's incredible. But we had this like lovely little chat and I met her husband and we talked and we just whatever. And then the party went on. And then later we were talking to Cole Escola and Patti had a tarot card reader there, which is so
Amazing.
fun. And so Ben and I were like, well, maybe we should go do the tarot card reader. And then Leanne was there talking to Cole with her husband. And so then we started chatting. And then she was just like, well, then we like got deep real fast. And she is clearly a witch, obviously. And she is. I mean, clearly.
Yeah.
As we all are here.
As we all are.
And she just, like, we got into it so deep, like, in the most intense way. And she just,
Yeah.
like, fucking read me like a book and just said all of this stuff to me that was incredible. And then... And I was sort of just like, yes, yes, bitch. Yes, yes. Oh my God, yes, yes. And Ben was like, say, oh my God, whatever. And then she said this, oh no, I'm gonna cry. She said, I know you can't see it for yourself. Let me see it for you. I see it for you. I see it so clearly, Busy. I see myself in London waiting at my bus stop and opening Instagram. And I see you so happy with a person who loves you so completely. I see it so clearly for you. I didn't tell her that I had said that to Ben, obviously.
Right.
And I just like sobbed and like hugged her. And I was like, I'm so glad you see it for me. And I'm so glad you see it so clearly. And I really, right now in this moment, 1 hour before midnight, I'm so glad to hear this.
Yeah.
I love you forever. Am I moving to London or are we best friends now? And then I was like, Ben, I don't need to go see that tarot card reader. And he's like, yeah, no, we definitely do not.
Oh my
You just got
gosh.
read, babe. You just got read
Yeah.
by a fucking brilliant award-winning actress who's probably going to get nominated for a Tony. And
That's amazing.
it was like so magical. And so then it was like 11 and we had kind of like, we'd been there since like, you know, like 9:15, 9:30-ish or whatever. And I was like, let's go to fucking Allison's. Let's go to another party. Let's like do it. Let's fucking book it. Let's go. And he's like, I don't know. Ben's like, I don't know. What if we get stuck in a car? You know, because it was like kind of far away from
Yeah.
where we were.
Yeah.
And I was like, if we're going to do it, we're doing it right now. One thing that I just want to say, I loved Patty's party so much. Every light in the house was on.
Ah,
It was the
Well-
brightest party I've ever been to.
you need to light it up
It was lit.
when you're a person
up.
of a certain age.
It was lit up, honey. I loved it. It was great. Anyway, I was like, I'm making the call. We got into a car. Our driver was adorable. We got to the party. We like got there and we were like there at like 11:30. Walked in and there were like all these people I was friends with that were there that I had no idea were even going to be there. My friend Marissa Meltzer and
Oh, nice.
there were just like a bunch of people and Hunter and it was so good to see Max and Allison, and she's just like the cutest pregnant person that's ever lived. It's like actually upsetting because
Yeah.
as a person who was not and whatever, guys, just don't. I just wasn't a cute pregnant person. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she's like a month-ish away, I think, or so. She's
Yeah.
close, or, you know, she's like in her last trimester.
Yeah.
At that point, I was immobile. I was
Yeah.
like so gigantic. And
Yeah.
she looks like the most adorable, cutest, glowing little adorable person
Yeah.
in the world.
Some people are just like that.
I know. I think it's great. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah. I have a friend who has been a surrogate like 8 times, I think, because like pregnancy is just nothing for her.
Well, that's incredible.
I'm like two times was my max. That was it.
Yeah.
That's all this body was doing.
The second time almost killed you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So both times.
Yeah. No, mine wasn't. I never had like the health complications. I always was fine.
Yeah.
I just, because I think it's the Ehlers and the fluid retention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because even like the fluid retention was so wild for me that even though like I never had gestational diabetes or whatever, and people couldn't believe it. But I told you about when I went to prenatal acupuncture.
Yeah.
And he stuck the needles in my legs and water started dripping out of my legs.
Oh, God.
That is.
You're like a maple tree.
I was a fucking maple tree when I was pregnant. But I met these girls there. And like one of the things that I've been thinking about was that, you know, I don't have that many friends that live in my neighborhood here in New York.
Right. Yeah.
And like, that's kind of a big deal because like, you want somebody that you're like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee at this place? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Not have to get on a train to like see people.
Right.
And I met these like rad girls. We have like all these mutual friends and like they live not far from me. Oh my God, there's a baby across the street that is so cute right now. I take a picture of this baby.
Busy has a real rear window situation happening.
Oh God, that baby is so cute. No, stop. Don't move, baby.
You have that cute baby in your neighborhood.
Oh, did I get you? You can't really see. No. She went behind scaffolding.
Of course.
Anyway, so I like met these rad girls and then we had like it was like a fun midnight and then it was just great. It was just great. And then I was going to get a car back to Manhattan and the girls were like, we're taking the train. It's New Year's Eve. There's 4 of us. It's safe. Don't worry. I was like, I don't know. The train right now has been kind of crazy.
I know.
But it was totally fun and great.
Oh, good.
And we went and then I like walked home from the train and there were like all these like crazy drunk young people out and it was so fun. And I got home and I was like dancing in my kitchen and eating Ritz crackers and
very Hoda copy of you.
What?
That's Hoda's favorite snack, Ritz crackers. We learned.
Oh, I know. I remember.
All right.
And then I waited up to like FaceTime with the kids for their New Year's, which I did because they're staying with Mark's writing partner and he was out at parties, but they were home. And then I was in bed and like an hour and a half later, Birdie was like, Dad's still not home. And he said he would be home an hour. He texted me an hour ago. And then I had a panic for 10 minutes when I couldn't get in touch with him that he was dead.
Right.
And that it was like terrible. And I texted you. I
was already
Emily.
Out cold.
You were out cold. Emily was dead asleep. I woke Emily up. It was like, I really had like a 10-minute moment.
Yeah.
Where I was like, where I literally said, I was like, universe, please. Like, my God, please. Like, I had just had the best night ever. Oh, my friend's girlfriend at Allison's part. I forgot. Also, like I met this girl who's dating a friend of mine at Allison's party.
Yeah.
This woman. And like we were sort of talking about also like sort of just like talking about our years and whatever. And I was just saying how hard the end of the year was, but that like it was sort of like this compounding thing because of all of this other stuff that had been that had happened in the last couple years and just how hard this like moving through this last part of this year was for me, like really devastating. And then she was like, well, I'm from Venezuela and And then she like just pulled out this like magic bag of like beans. And she was like, I want to give you my beans for this year. I was just like, what? And then I got like this magic bag of beans from this woman.
Wow. So Mark dying was not the move to end.
No,
the
I was
night.
just like Jesus Christ. Like if that, it was a perfect storm of a situation where he like always has his phone on him. And for 10 minutes, he didn't.
Yeah.
And that was the exact 10 minutes that like Birdie decided to have a freak out about him not being back yet and then call me, which of course I'm glad she did. But also then once, and also I kind of had, when she texted me, I was like, well, he might just be talking to people and not responding to her because like,
right. Yeah.
Your kid, whatever.
Yeah.
But then when he didn't respond to me, I was like, oh, no. And then I called Emily and she told me what time he had left Katie's party. And I didn't know that he was going to another party after.
Okay.
Which
so
is
it
like,
made it-
fine.
yeah.
He does not, you guys, like we are friends and we're good co-parents. He does not need to tell me his fucking schedule.
Right.
But I thought I knew that he was only going, like I thought I knew
Yeah.
what parties he was going to. And I didn't know he was going to a party after Katie and Mark's. And so, which again, he doesn't need to tell me these things.
Right.
Except the information I had led me to believe he was dead.
Yeah.
For 10 minutes.
Here's what I will say, and obviously you know this, but like my family is getting to an age where, and your family clearly too, because you guys are like, you have different plans, you're in different places, the kids are in different places. And I was telling you that like I have deep anxiety about people not being reachable.
Mhm.
And that's not to say everybody doesn't need to be reachable at all times, but
No, and especially like my ex-husband is allowed to have his own plans that I don't need to know
Exactly.
about.
Exactly.
Like I don't need to know where he was. I don't need to
Exactly.
know any of that. I do, however, need to know that he's alive.
yeah. So what I was telling you is that like I'm so grateful to my kids because like, they know about me and they know that I do get deeply anxious when they're not reachable. And so I was telling you that they really have like, they respect that about me. They could very easily get annoyed with me and be like, you need to calm down and you don't need to know where I am every second, but they really don't. They're just like, this is how mom is. She gets anxious. It's truly no sweat off my back to be like, I'm okay and I'll talk to you later or whatever. And I'm so grateful to them for that because I am the queen of spin outs when it comes to not knowing where somebody is or not being able to get in touch with them. So I felt so much for you because like sometimes it just happens, like somebody's where there's no coverage or their phone died or whatever. And,
Right.
And
especially in LA, like in the hills
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It just was like it was a perfect storm. And he felt so terrible.
Of course.
And
Of course.
obviously did not want me to have, but because of that, I didn't go to bed until like 5:30 in the morning
Oh, God.
here. And then we were going to do the podcast yesterday, but I just like all day was like kind of a zombie.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, I just kind of laid around yesterday too because I was trying not to do housework and stuff like that because I guess they say if you do housework all day, then you're just going to be like toiling all year. And I don't want
Oh, that's
that.
funny.
Although I could stand to toil a little more.
Wait,
to be
that's
honest.
totally why I didn't do anything yesterday.
Matt and I just watched movies because we had an empty house. And so we just watched some movies finally.
I didn't watch any movies. I did have a wonderful brunch with Jen and her wife Marie. That was so fun.
That's great.
And delicious. It was like,
Good.
so delicious. And then I did take Gina for a walk around Sunset. And the sunset yesterday was really good. And the sunset on New Year's Eve sucked. So I thought it was a really good omen. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was
And
it
then-
foggy in New York or what? You had like thunder snow or something?
What?
It was very
I don't
wet
know.
on New Year's Eve?
I don't know. It did rain, but it wasn't like, I don't think it was crazy. I don't
Okay.
know. It rained, but then it was like beautiful.
Okay.
By the time I the train situation at the end of the night was like, it was like beautiful out. It wasn't,
Okay.
there was nothing, weather had
Interesting.
stopped. There
Okay,
was
'cause
weather.
everybody was talking about the weather, and I was like, and LA was cold and foggy.
Oh yeah, the fog in LA was weird.
So
I
weird.
saw that. No, it wasn't like no, it was raining. Like when Ben and I went to the party at 9 or like whatever, left my house, it was
Yeah.
pretty rainy.
Yeah.
But then by the time we left at 11 to go to the second party, the rain had stopped. It was wet, but the rain had stopped. And then and then it didn't rain again. Yeah, because I was outside at Allison's house a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and it was just like kind of wet, but like
Yeah.
nice. A lot of people doing dry January.
Yes.
Not going to drink in January. You know what's a healthier happy hour?
Tell us about it.
Cornbread's THC gummies.
It is a healthier happy hour.
It really is. Because you still get like a little kick, a little relaxation, a little happiness, a little giggly.
Yeah.
It's America's first USDA organic THC edible grown proudly in Kentucky. Cornbread gummies are delicious, and they're a 1-to-1 THC to CBD ratio, so they take that edge off without making you feel anxious or paranoid. It's 10 milligrams of THC per gummy. You know what the dose is. You know what you're getting. And Cornbread uses no harsh solvents like petrochemicals or industrial acids, which sadly is found in most hemp THC products. Yikes. Yikes.
They have no synthetic ingredients, and they're Farm Bill compliant and legal for adults over age 21.
And I have to say, you're not going to get hungover. You know what I mean?
It's so nice. I just have the little jar next to my bedside. Matt and I cheers a little gummy every night before we go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
It's win-win.
That is a win-win. Well, if you're looking for a healthier way to enjoy a carefree moment, I really think you should give Cornbread Hemp a try. They've created the first ever USDA organic THC gummy that's 100% legal. If you want to give them a try, they're offering Busy Phillips is doing her best listeners buy one, get one free on all products. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/best and use promo code BEST at the checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/best and use code BEST for buy one, get one free on your first order. Cheers to a healthier, happier, happy hour. You know, the thing that I just had to get yesterday, though, into my system immediately as soon as I woke up.
I think I could guess.
I think you know. It was my electrolytes, guys. It was my element.
Yes.
It just was because listen, I did not work out, but I worked out the night before. You know, I just did a lot of champagne and some wine and just had a fun party time. And I woke up feeling it. I did wake up feeling it.
Yeah.
I did.
I don't drink a lot. I'm just not a huge drinker. And so when I do have a couple, which I have been having a couple, also champagne.
'Tis the seas. You know what I mean?
It's the season. And I really feel it so much harder when I wake up now than when I was 25.
For sure. But beyond that, I just am such a huge believer in the electrolytes and replenishing the electrolytes because what we know is that electrolytes facilitate hundreds of functions in your body, including the conduction of nerve impulses, hormonal regulation, nutrient absorption, fluid balance, and Element is a very tasty electrolyte drink mix that has everything you need, nothing you don't, lots of salt, no sugar. It contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, 60 milligrams magnesium, no junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. And it really helps with your electrolyte needs. It's perfectly suited for anyone, no matter what diet you're following, keto, low carb, paleo, whatever, eating whatever you want like me. Element can help prevent and eliminate headaches, muscle cramps, fatigue, sleeplessness, and other common symptoms of electrolyte deficiency. I really felt it yesterday, and I felt like 100 times better after I had my element. Like, it was not even a question. It was just so clearly better.
Well, I'm like a pee checker. I always check the color of my pee, and element is the only thing that makes sure that I'm getting hydrated enough. Which
you're clear. Your
the
pee's
proof
clear.
is in the peeing.
Yeah, it's so true. You want that. You want that clear pee, guys. Get those electrolytes in there. Element is used by everyone from people in the NBA and NFL and NHL players, Olympic athletes, Navy SEALs, and just me, moms, dads, exercise enthusiasts, especially when I'm like working out a lot.
Sure.
Whenever I'm in LA and I go to my workout, got to have my element. Here when I work out at home, got to have my element. It's all happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, Element is offering our listeners a free sample pack with any drink mix purchase. That's 8 single-serving packets free with any Element drink mix purchase. It's a great way to try all 8 flavors, or you could share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/best. This deal only available through our link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/best. That's drinkelement.com/best. Try it totally risk-free. If you don't like it, just share it with a salty friend. And Element will give you your money back, no questions asked. You have nothing to lose.
Wait, I want to back up to Patti LuPone's party.
Yeah.
Did you have a moment with Patti LuPone?
Oh, yeah. First of all, she booped me on the nose.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah. And she was like, I'm so glad you're here. And also, Ben and I do not arrive empty-handed. We were raised right. So I had put together this like adorable little gift for Patti. I hope she loved it. And Ben went to his favorite florist and got this gorgeous bouquet put together for her. We arrived with bearing gifts for
That's
the new
amazing.
year.
That's amazing.
I brought a set of tarot cards, which I didn't even know there was going to be a reader there, but because she plays a reader on the show,
right,
and I kind of figured that
you were
Patti would
playing
be
into the
it.
theme.
But I brought her this like beautiful deck of tarot cards that I love, and I brought her a beautiful candle, and then like really cute like matches, like novelty matches or like pretty
Sure.
matches.
Yeah.
And then a little tiny box of chocolates for like a little sweet treat, and sparklers. Listen, I really
Wow.
gave her a little gift bag. And then Ben brought those gorgeous flowers. So
Wow.
I know.
Well, she booped your nose. I just wanted to know, did you have like a memorable Patti LuPone moment? Because she's like a gumball machine of memorable moments, I feel like. That's all she
booped
does.
my nose. She was like so effusive towards me. And then I talked to Sashir because, Sashir and I worked together on He's Just Not That Into You. And then we did a lot of the press for He's Just Not That Into You together.
Right.
And I love her.
Yeah.
And hadn't seen her for a long, many years now.
Oh, nice.
And I was so happy to chat with her. And then she and Patti were talking, and I just was like, guys, can I just fan out on Agatha for 1 second? And I talked about this moment that they have together. I said how it's like one of my favorite moments in the whole show. And they were so grateful. And Patti was like, I was getting like kind of emotional talking about it. And Patti started like getting emotional. It was just like, a really fun.
That's amazing.
It was like a totally perfect Patti moment.
That's amazing. Well, I want to make a recommendation to you with respect to talking about love and things to watch. And have you watched Somebody Somewhere? Speaking of, our friend Mark it's his show, and it's Bridget Everett is the star of this show.
Oh, Bridget Everett's show.
Yes.
Wait, I didn't know Mark does that show.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I want to see that show. I haven't seen it.
I want you to watch it, and I'll go into it saying, and I'll be totally honest, that when I first started watching the show, I was like, I'm not sure this show is for me. Like, I'm not sure.
I did watch. I remember when it first came on. It was was it like pandemic?
Maybe. Yeah. And I was like, it's kind of quiet and
Yeah.
it's like, I wasn't sure what it was trying to say to me, but it was enough of a world that I liked it enough to like continue on watching it. Because here's the thing, whenever everybody loves something, then sometimes I feel a little bit like I'm doing it wrong if I don't like immediately fall in love with it the way that other people. And that's how I felt about that show, you know? And I
Mhm.
was like, I'm possibly like watching it wrong, or I'm trying to get the wrong thing out of it. And I don't think that was the case. I think it was just that like I had to get to know these people. And I think that I like strongly identified with this character that is Bridget Everett's sister and she's kind of an outsider in the show. And so maybe that is like where I was coming to everything from. Anyway, I really think you should watch it. And I think you should watch it. I think you should binge it and watch it all the way to the end, because I think I came around to where I never watched an episode without a giant smile on my face that like hurt my cheeks. I was, so exhausted from smiling. And everybody in it's fantastic, but I think the last season has some of the best lessons on love that I've ever seen in a book, television, anything. I think it's so great and I think you should watch it.
Okay. I'm in.
That's your homework. Watch Somebody Somewhere. I think it's like it's the most interesting commentary on love that I've seen in ages, maybe forever.
Ooh, okay. I'm very interested.
Yeah. And like
Okay, can't wait.
what we do to hold ourselves back from love and how we trip ourselves up. Because I think, don't we all do that?
100%. Well, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's really interesting. It's very worthwhile and like hilariously funny to boot, but it's so very good. It's very good.
Well, I want to watch it. I haven't really been watching anything on either one.
I hope you do. I watched Baby Girl, the Nicole Kidman.
Oh, everybody's watched it. I don't know if I feel like watching a thing about a powerful older woman dating a younger man right now.
Yeah, I mean, dating
dating's
putting it lightly.
I don't even know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is. It's a psychosexual drama.
Nicole, I was talking about it with my other group chat, and I was
don't
like,
know if I want to watch a psychosexual drama.
Nicole makes a lot of psychosexual dramas.
She does. And a lot with younger men, like her entire career. Remember To Die For?
Yes. I mean, I remember the real story. Yeah. And also the movie. The movie was great. But I'm just like, what's Nicole?
Is that a true story?
Yeah.
It was? I thought it was.
It so? Yeah.
I thought it was like sort of like based on like a Mary Kay Letourneau, but it wasn't real.
Yeah. I mean, To Die For is satirical Black comedy directed by the great Gus Van Sant, written by Buck Henry, based on Joyce Maynard's novel of the same name, which in turn was inspired by the story of Pamela Smart.
Oh.
And okay. Pamela Smart.
She was a teacher.
Yeah, she was a teacher, and it happened in New Hampshire. So, of course, it was like very close to my New England life.
Obviously.
Yeah. Anyway.
I guess I didn't realize it was a real... I mean, it totally makes sense, obviously.
Yeah. But Nicole, I was a little distracted by some things in the movie. I also watched The Substance, and I was like, my husband picked those two movies, and I was like, okay, we have to watch something that doesn't make me cover my eyes and like cringe out of my own skin. Not to say that they're not great movies. They both have like very interesting messages. It just was like The Substance was too much for me. It was too gross in the end.
Well, I don't like, I told you I'm not watching it because I don't like that stuff.
Yeah. And then
I'm too sensitive.
And then Baby Girl was also a lot for different reasons. It wasn't gross the same way that The Substance was, but it was a wild ride and quite long. And then after I made him, because I had a tummy ache, we watched Thelma, and I was delighted by Thelma, and I love Richard Roundtree so much.
I need to watch Thelma too.
Thelma's a good one. Thelma, like, it was way too real. Like there's a grandson character, and then Parker Posey, and oh gosh, who's the guy? Clark Gregg, is that his name? Play the parents, and they were way too real, and I wanted to immediately text my kids to apologize for how similar we are to those caricatures of parents.
I love that.
There was a scene where their adult son has lost his wallet and lost his driver's license, and he told them that he had like applied for a new license and he had it, and then there's a lot going on. It's kind of like a caper movie, and it necessitates him driving. And then the father's like, "Where's your license?" And he's like, he doesn't have his license because he never applied for like a replacement or whatever. And then the mother's like, "Do you want me to sit with you when you apply for your new license? Would that make it easier?" And I was like, oh no, I've been hit.
That's really funny.
But anyway, Thelma, highly recommend. Make my way through. I gotta watch Wicked next. I got to get with it.
I need to watch Wicked.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, and I'm also like, it was like so annoying because remember, I think I told you that Cricket was like, I don't want to watch half a movie.
Oh, right. She wants to watch them both when they're, yeah.
Yeah, but then I called the other night and she's like, we're watching Wicked. And I was like,
kids, they'll do it to you every time.
Should have known.
They'll watch a movie on you every time.
Fucking known. That's all right.
Oh my gosh.
I think I can go. I want to go to the theater and see
the theater.
I really do. I really would like to.
Well, I did tell you that like when I was in New York, Matt put a television in our room that is so giant, I can't even watch the whole thing at one time. So
you have to like pick a corner.
It is the theater. He got it from like this virtual reality place that went out of business. And I think he basically like got it for nothing and is the largest TV. And he tried to say it's the same size as the TV we have in the living room. But I'm like, yes, but in the living room, we sit like 15 feet away from it and in the bedroom.
Right. And also you have like, it's like a living room. It's not a bedroom.
Like in the bedroom, it is immediately at the end of our bed. And because that's how small our bedroom is. But I will say that I can read the texts. He was doing it in a loving way because I can never read the texts that TV characters get on their phones. And then he always pauses it and says, "Do you want me to read the text for you?" And then I get very offended, but I always need him to. So it was a loving gesture. But I do have to pan and scan when I'm watching something on that TV. I can't see it all at one time. It's like sitting in the front row of a movie theater. So
it's actually really funny.
I'll watch Wicked on there. I'll pop some popcorn and watch Wicked on there, and it'll feel like the theater, but I won't get the bird flu or whatever is going around now.
There's a bird flu?
Bird flu. Yeah. They're saying it's going to be.
Is it the same one that it was before the bird flu?
Yeah, I mean,
there was a bird flu before.
Yeah, it's H1N1, but now it's like H151 or something. And I guess raw meat and raw milk are a lot of the problem of spreading it. And so like a lot of pets have died from eating raw food diets that they have, which that's very sad. I'm sure people feel terrible about that. I'm in a mom's group and I saw one of the moms trying to sell raw milk on there and that got shut down, I think, pretty fast.
I don't like that.
Yeah. You know, we got to be careful of the wellness. You know, I love wellness. I really do. Like, I love any type of like new, any type of new thing. Lasers, love it. Will it sometimes like make weird marks on your face? Sometimes. It depends. It's all a crapshoot. But, we just have to be careful. We have to do our own research, as they say. And I think my research is telling me no raw milk, no raw meat.
I mean, I don't drink raw milk or eat raw meat. So I think I'm okay.
I feel like you'd have to go to some effort to even get raw milk, but people are clearly getting it, like from moms groups, I guess.
What's the deal? Why do you want raw milk? I remember that, I guess, when Birdie and Cricket were little.
They think
that people were like into
They think it's healthier and,
right.
RFK Jr., right?
Yeah,
Isn't he like a raw milk guy who's going to make us all healthier somehow?
Yeah, maybe it is for your gut, like gut bacteria stuff. I don't fucking know. I'm making that
there's
up.
a reason
That's
we
based
started
on nothing.
Pasteurizing it. That's like
Raw
to
cheese?
Raw.
Wait, is cheese raw?
No.
Yeah, some of it is.
I think some is like,
because
some
that's why
is
when you're pregnant, you're not supposed to eat soft cheeses.
cheese. Right. Because of listeria.
Listeria. But that's different. Listeria is different than whatever. I'm not a fucking etymologist? Epidemiologist?
You're not either of those things.
I'm not a epidemiologist. I'm not an etymologist.
Oh my God. We got to find out all the things that we can't eat or touch. And I'm trying not to freak out about it, but I'm trying to be like realistic and practical about it. And I don't need to eat raw meat. So I'm going to avoid it. And I'm going to wash my hands.
I never do. I don't
carefully if I touch it, and just,
Yeah.
Yeah. There's, still drones, still orbs.
There are?
Yeah. Now everybody's freaked out about the fog. There's nationwide fog and the bird flu. So it's just like, and then all these weird like things that are happening. I mean, the thing that happened in New Orleans on New Year's Eve was terrible.
Terrible.
But then just like exploding Cybertrucks and that it was just fireworks, but yet it still exploded. And
what was happening with that?
I don't know. A cache of pipe bombs found, and so it's a lot.
Where? What? Really?
It was like the biggest pipe bomb seizure or something.
Where?
I'll be
In
honestly,
Texas?
I'll be so much better off if TikTok is banned, because that's where I'm like hearing about all of this, and it seems like the news just doesn't talk about any of it. So, two-fingered man caught with largest cache of homemade pipe bombs in FBI history. Virginia resident Brad Spafford was reported to law enforcement that the defendant had lost 3 fingers on his right hand in 2021 while working with an explosive device. The neighbor further alleged that Spafford was also stockpiling weapons and homemade ammunition on his 20-acre farm in Virginia's Isle of Wight County, around 185 miles south of Washington, D.C. Anyway, his remaining fingers have been arrested and his bombs have been seized.
Well, okay.
Wow. I don't know. I had an uncle that hardly had any fingers, but it's because he worked in a deli, not with explosives.
Ugh, gross. Caissie, I want to hear about that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to your uncle, but no.
Well,
No.
R.I.P. Uncle Tony is gone now, but he
I
just...
don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear about it.
And my other uncle cut off all his fingers working in a paper mill.
Caissie, I don't know what's going on in your family. I can't.
That's just how it is when you have to work in jobs with very sharp
heavy machinery. My dad worked in
very
a job
sharp
with heavy,
machinery.
with heavy machinery.
He never cut any fingers or anything off. I bet he's got some stories about people who did.
The one thing I know he told me always was that you just don't wear a wedding ring.
Oh, okay, because it can get caught.
Because if it gets caught, it'll rip, and it rips. It's just not.
And it's not good. That's not a good injury. It's what happened to Jimmy Fallon that time.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's actually one of the worst kinds of injuries you can get.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yeah.
Eesh. Anyway, no jewelry, of any kind. No watch, no rings.
Makes sense.
None.
Makes sense. Well, what are you doing your best at?
Just, I think, energetically shifting things around. I think I'm doing my best at that.
That makes sense. It's good.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm doing my best at.
All right.
Energetically shifting things around and letting things go that I can't hold on to anymore
Yeah.
because it does not serve me well.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And
I did
acknowledging that, like, even when you let things go, sometimes, you know, you still, it doesn't mean you stop feeling them.
Right.
You still feel them sometimes, but you can, like, it's different. That's an energetic shift. That's a different thing.
Yeah. I saw this person talking about, I don't know if it's like a theory or whatever. She was talking about, I think she called it the let them theory. You know?
Let them is very big because Mel Robbins just came up with that book, but it's like a let them is like, was that the older woman that you saw? It wasn't Mel Robbins.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I saw that too. And I do think that's great. Like, I think that's, and that's like a thing that I feel like on TikTok and like relationship TikTok and whatever I've seen for a long time, which is like, if somebody wants to walk out of your life, let them. If somebody doesn't want to spend time with you, let them. Like, that's a da-da-da-da-da. And that is such great advice and so much easier said than done.
Right.
Because nobody is all one thing.
Right.
Including myself.
Right.
And like, and so a person maybe is like, says one thing or acts in one way, but then also acts in a different way.
Right.
And that's like where people get, and I think that sometimes the TikTokification of like romantic relationships gets tricky because sometimes you need to allow for nuance. And sometimes people's behaviors that are like diametrically opposed to each other, like for instance, like walking away, but also like, but then being like, but wait, I actually, sometimes I mean, like, honestly, there are situations where people are like, I'm working on a thing and this is the thing I'm working on and I want to like work on it with you. You know what I mean? I've been like that in my own self and relationships. So I think that it gets complicated because I am just a person who like believes deeply in growth and growth edges and like being allowed to have space for growth within your relationships with other people. And a lot of times some of that advice that you see online doesn't allow for that and like really cuts people out in a way that I don't think is fair. Like a lot of times people say to me, like, you've had such long-standing friendships and relationships. How is that possible? And it's like, well, we haven't always been like all of these friends that I have for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. It's not like every year we've both been our best to each other.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some years you have years where you're like really showing up for each other in great ways and you just have whatever. But sometimes, I mean, with long-standing relationships and friendships, sometimes your friends are assholes and they go through, I'm sure I know I have with people. Yeah. They go through selfish seasons or where they're going through a thing or they don't treat or they forget your fucking birthday or whatever it is. And the trick becomes not just like, well, if they wanted to, they would, but also taking into consideration, like, what is that person's heart? How well do you know them? What's going on with them? And can you like allow space for them to not be their best self in this moment and accept them and still love them for that through it? And maybe on the other side, that's different than taking like a consistent abuse from a person or
100%
a consistent like mistreatment or a relationship that you don't get anything out of and only feels bad. Like that's a different conversation. But I think sometimes with this TikTok stuff, like it's very easy to be reductive.
Yeah.
You know?
And by the way, like I think let them sounds kind of like, you know, it sounds like when your parents say to you when you're a kid and you're like, these kids didn't invite me to their party. And your mom is like, well, it's their loss, you know? And you're just like, yeah, okay. It doesn't mean that it hurts any less. And that's also just like a platitude that parents say to their kids all the time. It is also my loss for not being included in this thing that I wish to be included in.
It is also my loss. Right.
Yeah. So I think a better way to say it would be allow them.
Yeah.
instead of like let them. Sounds like let them do whatever they want to you. No, allow people to do what they're going to do and not get hung up on it because you didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I think where something that I struggle with a lot is like trying to get someone to understand the way what they chose to do hurt me and how I wish they had done it differently. And all it sounds like to that other person is you're a fuck up, you're a failure, you did me wrong. And that's not always what I mean. You know what I mean? And I think the reason that sometimes it's easier with friends is because like sometimes we don't even just like you were saying, we don't even broach these discussions. Sometimes we're just like, she's got a lot going on and, and we'll get back at it next month, and
Totally.
But we don't do that with our families or people that we're trying to have romantic relationships with as much. I think we do try to like fix it so much and it becomes like a referendum on something. And like you said, like you're not going to let someone repeatedly be abusive to you. But like, I do think that I cut my friends way more slack than I cut my family or like my partner. In the past, like I used to be a nightmare about shit like that. Like, just like having to go through like, here's how you hurt my feelings, and it's like we're all just figuring it out. Like, I think I said this on the podcast. Like, I recently apologized to my son for something that I did a couple years ago, and he was like, "Well, it was my first time going through something like that, but it was also your first time going. Like, it's your first
Totally.
time being the
Right.
parent of a person
Yes.
my age,
Yeah.
So we're figuring it
we're
out.
all
But
like, right. And I mean, the fucking name of this podcast, man. Like the hope is that we're all doing our best. Like and that's the benefit of the doubt that I give most people most of the time.
yeah,
And then you get to a point though where some people aren't. You know what I mean? Some people
Yeah.
just are not.
yeah.
And it's consistent. And it's consistent enough to be like, well, that's
It doesn't work for me.
that's not working. That's
And
not
I
gonna
think the
work.
key is like maybe like not taking it personally for me, like not belaboring it and just being like, okay, I feel like I've given it enough of a shot and I feel like I see this consistent pattern of behavior from you. It's clearly, it's where you are right now, but it just doesn't work for me. So like, let's just call it. Like I feel like I feel like that's where I want to be, but also much easier said than done.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, I also have friends that I feel like I've grown apart from that I would like to like be closer to once again, and they're just not there. And I feel like bringing it up might be the same thing as like talking to someone that you're in a relationship with about like, I feel like I don't want to send the message like, I feel like you've been falling down on being friends with me or whatever, so there's navigating that too, but it's my first time.
Yeah. And I think like it's about, I think especially as women in friendships and romantic relationships, like we are conditioned to hold so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times it's like, well, when does it become untenable for you? And sometimes as women, by the time it becomes untenable, like truly untenable, it's almost impossible to be rectified because it's built up so much. So yeah, I mean, it is, but it's like everything is a case-by-case basis, I think. And there's no like one version that makes that is like a catch-all for all people or all relationships.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't remember now what I was even saying. What are you doing your best at?
I'm trying to like rethink some things. It's funny. It's not the same, but it is the same. I'm just trying to rethink some things in my house that don't really work for me, like things that I set out and set up with the best of intentions. Like, oh, this is going to be like, just for example, it's so dumb and it sounds so trite, but like I put this like little upholstered bench in my office/closet room. And I was like, this will be a great place to like sit down and put shoes on. It's not a great place to sit down and put shoes on. It's a great place for me to put clothes on and not put them away in the closets where they go. And so she's got to go, that bench. She's got to go.
See ya.
Get
the fuck out of here.
And I feel a little bad for having procured the bench. And I'm trying not to like load my house up with things that I don't need or, just like purchase things unthoughtfully. But the truth is I was thoughtful about it. I thought it would be good and it's not really working. So it's got to go. And
Bye.
It's got to go.
She's done.
Yeah. And my office is chaos right now. We didn't even talk about this, but I did post about it on Instagram. Like what I would consider my biggest gift for Christmas for my family is that I made them all belts.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that on Insta. Yeah, cute.
I hurt myself so badly. It was so hard to do. My whole office was taken over with this belt making process. It was really the hardest thing I ever undertook. It was such a project, but like now I'm just healing. I have like so many blisters and bruises. I thought that I broke my finger at one point because I like pinched my hand in some type of crimping tool.
Oh my God.
One second, I almost blacked out from how bad that hurt. And then I'm not kidding you, just when I got like okay enough where I felt like I wasn't going to pass out, I smashed the same part of my hand with like a rubber mallet.
This feels like this runs in your family, like from the earlier discussion about all the fingers lost. I just am going to offer to you that perhaps doing things with heavy tools and machinery isn't for your lineage.
It might not be, but also it's like it's also like
pottery.
I tried to do this
Caissie
thing.
pottery.
But have you not had pottery disasters?
Same. No, I've not. No,
you haven't hurt yourself.
No, no, I have not had something. No, I fell walking, holding pottery, but that's about me falling, not about the pottery.
I just feel like my grandmother was a really talented leather worker. It was something that I wanted to try. And like, to be honest, I wouldn't mind trying more of it in the future, even though I did hurt myself. I think that, I think I could get better at it maybe. But the thing is, like, the way that I have everything set up, it was way too chaotic. And so I'm just trying to like rethink everything and just get a space that like works for me, and we'll see what happens. But you know that you're no stranger to that. You're doing the same thing. You're trying to get shoe cubbies, It's just a lot.
I'm not going to build them, but yes.
But you know what I mean? Like you're trying something. You're trying to like switch it up. And so it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same as relationships in a way. You're trying to like change up the energy and like just put things the way that they work the best for you.
Well, I think, and part of the reason why part of the thing too with this front entry in the house, like I was like, definitely like ran out of money. Was like, I don't want to put any more money into the house at that moment. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
But then also, I think it's always important to live in a space for a while to see what you actually need.
Right.
And so, I feel like I know better now what I need in this here space right now for the time being. Yeah. Which is clearly because I have a rolling rack in the front of my house. I need more closet space.
And it's hard because you live with other people and you have to, you're trying to put systems in place and like, will they agree with them? Will they comply with the systems?
I don't really live with other people anymore, just the children.
I know, but children are some of the most notorious.
They're not going to comply with anything.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's like a given. The given is that the kids aren't complying with any system I put in place. But so I just may as well make a system that works for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's kind of all
Gina.
the same. It's kind of
Gina's
all
falling
like
in line.
reevaluating, like, does this work for me? And like, and not taking it personally. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up over the upholstered bench that I bought. That's not working, you know?
Do not do that. That's
it'll
a
work
waste
for
of
someone.
time.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Anyway, well, that's good.
Yeah,
All right.
we're doing it.
Well, guys, hope you had a good start to your new year.
Take good care of yourself.
You have a few more days probably before you have to really return to real life. Maybe.
I hope so. Or you might be back at work now. Who knows? Matt had to go back today. I felt sad for
him.
him.
A lot of people had to go back today.
He likes it. So that's what I tell myself. He loves it.
He loves it, guys. But we love you.
And we'll talk to you very soon.
Happy 2025. It's all happening.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh, no.